James Mitchell was, by all accounts, a man devoted to his work and his family. At 32, he had worked his way up in the corporate world, known as an intelligent and reliable investment banker with an unblemished reputation. Raised in a small town by a father who had instilled in him strong values, James viewed loyalty and commitment as essential to his marriage with Isabella. At 29, Isabella was the opposite of James in many ways. With a thriving career as a social media influencer, she loved being in the spotlight, basking in the adoration of her followers. Her life revolved around excitement, spontaneity, and the allure of being constantly surrounded by people who admired her vibrant energy. Though James admired Isabella's free spirit, he often found himself feeling distant from her world. At first, their differences seemed to complement each other, giving balance to their relationship. However, James began to notice a change in Isabella's behavior over time. She had always been a bit private, but lately she'd become intensely secretive. Her phone, once casually left on tables and countertops, was now always in her pocket or face down. When it buzzed, she would glance at it with a quick, almost guilty look, and then either silence it or slip away to another room. Gone were the days of shared laughs and open conversations. Instead, Isabella now seemed more interested in her phone screen than in spending time with him. James found himself haunted by the little things that didn't add up. She was away more often, citing photo shoots, meetups with influencer friends, or brand events. Once on a Saturday morning, Isabella had been gone since dawn, claiming she was at a new fitness center for a collaboration shoot. But when James called the center to surprise her with lunch, he found out she wasn't there. She came home late that evening with no explanation other than a vague excuse about plans changing. James wanted to believe her, but the doubts continued to eat at him. One evening, his suspicions finally got the better of him. Isabella was in the shower, and her phone buzzed with a message. As he glanced over, he saw the name Daniel pop up on the screen with a heart emoji next to it. Against his usual principles, James picked up the phone and unlocked it, feeling a pang of guilt. But his guilt quickly transformed into something darker when he read the messages. The conversations with this Daniel were far more than friendly. They were intimate, affectionate, even explicit at times. James felt his heart sink, each word cutting into him as the full weight of her betrayal sank in. Shaken and heartbroken, James struggled to know what to do next. He felt lost, as if his whole world was crumbling around him. His marriage, the foundation of his life, was now stained with betrayal. Unsure of how to move forward, he decided to reach out to the one person he knew would give him sound advice: his father, Michael. At 58, Michael was a retired police officer with a deep sense of justice and integrity. He was a man of few words, but his guidance had always been a steady anchor in James's life. When James sat down with his father, he could barely hold back his tears. He explained everything: Isabella's growing distance, her secrecy, and the texts with Daniel. Michael listened quietly, letting James pour out his heart before he offered any advice. When he finally spoke, his voice was calm but firm. "James," he began, "you've been dealt a terrible hand, but how you handle this will shape your future. Confronting her directly might only lead to more lies. She may try to manipulate the truth. If she's made choices that have hurt you this deeply, then she must face the consequences of those choices." Michael suggested that instead of a confrontation, James should arrange a gathering with both families. This would create a setting where Isabella would have no choice but to confront her actions. Together, they devised a plan: a family dinner where Isabella would be given the chance to come clean. By doing this, James wouldn't just be confronting his wife, he would be giving her the opportunity to explain herself to everyone she had affected. The night of the gathering arrived, and the tension in the air was palpable. James had arranged the dinner carefully, ensuring that both families would be present. Isabella arrived, her usual confidence slightly dimmed by the unusual atmosphere. She greeted everyone, her smile faltering when she noticed the somber expressions and the lack of warmth in the room. As they sat down to eat, James took a deep breath and began to speak, sharing his concerns without directly accusing her. James's voice was steady but filled with quiet pain as he recounted the changes he had observed, hinting at the possibility of a betrayal. He mentioned the messages he had seen and the evidence he had gathered, though he left out the details. Isabella's face turned pale, and she quickly tried to control the situation, stumbling over her words as she claimed it was all a misunderstanding, just harmless flirtation. She spoke of how she had felt trapped and bored in their marriage, looking for a spark that had faded over the years. But her words fell on deaf ears. The families, shocked and saddened, looked at her with disappointment. Her attempts to shift blame and justify her actions only deepened their disapproval. Her father, who had always supported her, shook his head in disbelief, while James's mother silently wiped away tears. It became clear to everyone in the room that Isabella had betrayed not only James, but both families who had trusted and accepted her. Isabella's confidence shattered, and she was left humiliated and exposed before the very people who had once cherished her. In the days following the dinner, Isabella's life began to unravel. Her once loyal followers on social media slowly started to turn on her as rumors of her betrayal began to circulate. Brands that had once sought her partnership distanced themselves, fearing association with scandal. Isabella's carefully curated life, built on image and attention, crumbled as her secrets became public knowledge. She was no longer the admired influencer, but rather a figure of controversy and gossip. Meanwhile, James tried to pick up the pieces of his life. He found unexpected support from Sophie Allen, a mutual friend who had been present at the dinner. Sophie had once admired James for his dedication to his marriage, and witnessing Isabella's betrayal had stirred something within her. She reached out to James, offering him companionship and encouragement. Their conversations became a source of comfort, and slowly, Sophie's presence brought a new sense of hope and healing into James's life. Sophie was kind, empathetic, and understanding, qualities that James had longed for in his marriage. Though it started as friends, Sophie's gentle support allowed James to see that life after betrayal could still be meaningful. As he spent more time with her, he began to let go of the pain and anger, finding himself smiling and laughing again. His relationship with Sophie wasn't built on passion or intensity, but on mutual respect and a shared understanding of integrity. For James, this was the start of a new beginning. Months passed, and James had started to rebuild his life. Though the pain of Isabella's betrayal lingered, he no longer felt bound to it. His focus shifted from what he had lost to what he had gained, a deeper understanding of himself and the kind of love he deserved. Isabella, now alone and regretting her decisions, tried to reach out to James several times, hoping for reconciliation. But James, having found peace in his new life, chose not to reopen old wounds. In his final interaction with Isabella, he met her in a public place, listened to her apologies, and simply said, "Thank you for teaching me what true love isn't. I hope you find what you're looking for, but it won't be with me." With those words, he walked away, feeling a weight lifted from his shoulders. Isabella watched him leave, realizing too late that her choices had cost her everything that mattered. James found a fresh start with Sophie, whose unwavering support had been a beacon through his darkest times. They began dating, building a relationship founded on honesty and trust. For James, this was more than just a new relationship. It was a chance to live the life he deserved, free from deceit and betrayal. And that's the story, dear viewers. James's journey reminds us that betrayal doesn't define us. It's how we rise from it that truly matters. Thank you for watching, and remember, true love is built on trust, not secrets. Please like, share, and comment on this story, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more captivating tales. What would you have done in James's place? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts.